So I know there's a lot of new players that are starting the game with the Frieren collaboration. So I wanted to do this video to talk about how you can get the characters and their weapons and as many dupes as possible during the duration of this collaboration in today's video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you're new here, make sure you do hit that subscribe. 80% of viewers are missing out by not being subscribed to the channel. I've got a couple hundred videos on this game specifically, but I do cover, excuse me, other games as well. So hopefully you guys get mixed up in that. Enjoy some good game content, right? Anyway, moving on. Let me know in the comments, how long have you been playing, especially if you're a new player, but obviously in today's video, the vets don't necessarily need it. Maybe it'll help. But anyway, the collaboration appears to be going on until the 20th. So that'd be cool. Plenty of time, in my opinion, to get everything you need. So we're going to cover this. We're going to dive in. Hit that thumbs up. Let's get this video to a like goal of 300 likes and share the video with your friends if they want to know this information as well. So currently right now, we're going to start off with the gacha system. So I was just looking at it. So you can rewind like literally a second. The information that was on the screen for that intro portion is what you need to know about the gacha. So first up, we do have Frieren available in the gacha for the next 23 days. Are we already really a week into this thing? Like, almost. Anyway, so what's going to happen is next week, or within a week, whatever the date was, I think it's at the 6th, so in about 2 weeks, we will get Fern's gacha as well. So Fern will have a gacha running here, so you can actually pull them as much as you want. So a couple of quick things. If you're new here, this game has a pretty good pity system overall, but that doesn't really matter so much on this gacha because you will not have to do more than 80 pulls, period, in order to get a copy of the character because she is the only SSR character on this entire gacha. You will not pull anything else and have to do like a 50-50 or anything like that. You will just pull Frieren if you pull a 5-star, or an SSR, excuse me. So moving on from that, the same thing will most likely be the case for Fern. So these characters have dupes, obviously. Like you can get up to 10 dupes in a character, or 9 technically, but 10 ascensions on a character. And you will not be able to get these characters again unless they happen to run another collaboration, so I don't want to spook you with that. The most important thing is just getting the characters and unlocking them, and if you happen to decide to be a paying player or anything like that, or if you want to go balls to the wall and grind this entire game, you won't be able to finish it in like a month period, but if you want to go hardcore crazy grinding, you would be able to work up a lot of pulls and go pretty hard before these characters, you know, just leave if you wanted to get them. I think that these characters are all solid. I don't think they're like crazy meta changers. I think Stark is arguably the best breaker in terms of fire characters. I think she's a really good support, and then I do like the nuke potential of Fern. Anyway, moving on. So there's that. There is also an event tie-in as well, but we'll get to that in a moment. Really quick, I wanted to go ahead and hit the shop up because I just kind of brought up some other stuff. So if you are willing to spend even a little bit, then this will be much easier for you. So what happens is they've got this collaboration special event, which will give you tickets. So this is a not free multi, but a $3 multi is what I should say. And you're giving up. Okay. What was I? I set a reminder for something, and I don't know what the hell it was, but I'm pretty sure it talked to text. It did not pick up what I wanted to see. Anyway, so they also do have this consumable item here. This is a selector for the weapon for the character. So with this, you can choose whichever of these 3 weapons you want between the 3 that are tied into these characters. Each one of them is there, right? And then same thing, they've all got dupes that they can go into, and they get stronger, etc. Blah blah blah. So if you pick that up, you get this progressive step pack thing. Next one will give you a copy of Stark, right? So on and so forth. I believe this is where you're going to get those beyond 5 dupes of Stark. I don't know if you can get them elsewhere. And then again, they do have those all mixed in here, so you can go as deep as you want into this. Exclusive support data. This one is also pretty powerful because what this does is it allows you to, I believe, choose any character and advance them, right? So yeah, it says right there, materials used to advance the travel companion. So you can put that as a dupe in any character. So that's pretty strong. Say you don't want to pull for that last copy of Frieren or whatever, you can use that. All right, so moving on, they also do have the costume collaboration here with these 2 characters. Again, these are limited time as well, so I don't know if you'll be able to get these later on. I'm pretty sure you won't be, so keep that in mind. If you like these, if you're willing to spend, then there you go. Now, moving on from that, there are a couple other things since we're on this topic that we need to cover really quick, but those are over here in the battle pass. So moving on, we do have this initial Frieren Special Adventure Battle Pass. With this pack, as you see, there's 5 freaking Battle Passes. With this one, you get Stark here for free. So flat out, you just get a Stark copy. And you get a dupe for Stark. In fact, I believe you get his first 5. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, some selectors, a couple more selectors in there. So you get at least a few copies of Stark. Anyway, moving on. So you get Stark there, and then on this process as well, you will get weapon selectors, and these ones will, again, let you choose. So this is the free track of this. These will let you choose whichever weapon you want. We'll talk more about weapons as we go. Now, the paid bottom track here will cost $30, so keep that in mind. It's actually relatively expensive for a pack, but what they're doing here is they've got all the dupes for the characters, or some dupes of characters and weapon dupes in here is what I should say, tied into here. So as you see, the bottom track, these are all duplicates for these characters, so you don't need to pull them from the gacha. So that's how that works. And then again, they've got more weapon selectors, so you can get the weapons here. Again, the weapons can be acquired differently. We'll cover that in a minute. They've also got a Stark costume. His winter outfit is in here too, so that's really also what's hiking up the price of this overall. And then they've got a bunch of other resources, but as you see, they've got a lot of selectors in here, because ultimately you need to get, if you want to max all these, you need to get 30 copies of the weapons. That's kind of a lot in like, you know, a month, give or take. That's kind of a lot, to be honest. Anyway, moving on. So they've also got this here. So they gave Sung Jinu the hero's sword. So again, this is on the free track. You can get that. You can get some dupes of it as well. And then they've got the bottom track as well, which is, again, a pretty expensive pass. This is not normal pricing. They've kind of hiked these up a bit for this collaboration. Maybe they were like this for their last collab. I wasn't really paying so much attention to that, admittedly. But they've got Himmel's sword for Sung Jinu. You can get that and use it. It's pretty solid. Lastly, they've got a costume for Sung Jina, his sister here, as well. So that's another thing that I think this one will probably be obtainable. Probably. I don't know. It depends. So now let's get out of the paid stuff, because I know that probably turns some people off, but I had to cover it because this is how to get everything, right? So moving on from that, a lot of what you're going to get is going to be tied into two things. Firstly, the login. So there's a full-on login bonus here, and the very first day of your login will give you a character selector. I should have led the video with this. The very first day of your login will give you a character selector where you can choose any one of those 3 characters. I'll show you where to go because I know this can get a little bit confusing in order to redeem these. And then in this, you will also get some other things like a Stark icon. There's these other artifact sets. They're just kind of cosmetic, but I always thought these were weird when they did these like seasonal or collaboration artifact sets, because you don't actually see it reflected on the characters, and they don't do anything fancy. These are just cookie cutter sets. This is just what's the leather set? I forget what it's called right now. Toughness. They don't do anything, so they're just kind of there. Anyway, that's mostly that. So that is the initial login bonus, and then aside from that, there is some other stuff here. So let's go over to the events tab, and there's 2 events to pay attention to. So this is firstly, a few, I guess. Firstly, this is the Lucky Capsule. This is an event that is here for any time we get a new gacha. It is how you primarily get these weapons. So as you complete the missions, I've already done mine, complete gates, log in. But the biggest thing that's going to reward you is the more multis you do, right? Doing multi-summons will give you the most amount of tickets that you can throw back into this. And so you get more tickets, and then along the way, you get these fragments. I'll talk about these as well, because we need to go to the inventory to see all this stuff. But you get these fragments. This is a selector fragment for weapons, so we're going to cover that. But then also in this process, you will get the drop as well for a weapon selector for 2 of the 3 characters, right? Not all 3, just 2 of the 3 characters. There is a weapon selector there. Stark's weapon is not tied into this. And this is mostly just because this is specific to the gacha, right? So keep that in mind. They also do have, again, another event they always have just for some extra resources, but on the final track here, you again will get another weapon selector for either of the 2 ladies. In order to complete this, click on the missions tab, but basically you just have to upgrade Frieren and Fern. Does it have Stark tied into here? No, just Frieren and Fern, like I thought. So just upgrading those 2 characters in the various ways you can upgrade them will give you the points here. And there's technically like a leaderboard tied into this. It doesn't really matter all that much. I'm pretty sure there's nothing fancy here. They never really matter all that much. I mean, these are cool, but they don't matter all that much. All right. So moving on from that, there is also this world drop tied into this, which goes back to the event we're going to look at next. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. All right. So this is the big event, right? The overall event, the story event for the collaboration. And so with the collaboration, they have the boss challenge. So you guys can go over here, take on the boss, and if you're using these characters with their weapons on the left side, you do get bonus points for that. And then on the way grinding that, you will get achievement rewards, which, can I see those? Which includes as the final reward, another selector for the weapons. This time you will see a Stark weapon as a possibility, but along the way you'll get a bunch of other various resources that are useful to you, and you'll also get some of these artifacts too, but again, not really a big deal. So you can get that stuff. This is just the overall story event, and then if you want to see like the literal story, they've got that here about these characters and their interactions. There are multiple chapters as well. And then with this, there's also this Frieren Magic Beast Conquest, so you want to complete this as much as possible. You get to choose a character. You can play with them, basically like a trial, if you will, even though they technically have trials. I wonder if these characters have trials. I gotta go see. And then what happens is that you just basically destroy as many opponents as you can. The other two characters are on the board with you. You guys need to destroy, I believe, 90 together, cumulative, to get the full 400 points within the time limit, but you get to play with the characters. They're not going into your account or anything like that. And then this one here is basically a way to get extra resources here to tie in as well. So you interact with the characters in the various ways that they ask you to do so in the missions. And ultimately, all of that culminates with your ability to get some of these main rewards as well, right? So they tell you right here where all these rewards are at. The boss challenge, you can get the Stark dupe there, that weapon selector, checking in, you can get the stuff. So this is just all the stuff we've mostly already covered up to this point. And so you will take the resources that you get from the boss challenge, right? By beating the boss, you will get this resource here. Does it show? You will get like that bread basket thing or whatever the hell that thing is. Whatever that thing was, you will get that. By completing these events, right, you will get that, and then you can go over to the exchange shop in the shop, and you can exchange for 2 more duplicates of Stark. So, oh no, not the bread basket thing. Those gold coins. No wonder it looked different. Okay, so those gold coins were in there. You guys saw those in the mission list for the boss challenge. You can take those to the shop and exchange for more Stark's data, as it's called, and that's 2 more duplicates in Stark. So you can go. So if you haven't caught on, Stark is the most free-to-play character because he's literally 100% free-to-play. There's nothing of a gacha coming for him or anything like that. You just get Stark. And if you count it up, then you probably can get the full advancements for him through that. Now, finally, I wanted to cover where to see all that stuff. And so this is the inventory, right? The inventory is where you're going to see all these little selector chests they give you because they don't auto redeem. You have to go in and you've got to manually redeem. See, like here is a selector. If I go ahead and click this, click use, I get to choose which one of these weapons I want. It shows me my current progress with those stars underneath the icon, and I can keep on advancing more dupes into whichever one I choose. Now, I'll talk about how you can get those as well separately in a minute. Actually, we'll talk about that next, but there will be a character one here too. I don't have one currently. I don't think I've already used it. But you will have the ability to start with one. So if you wanted Fern right now, by the way, that day 1 login starter that I showed you a minute ago, you would have to choose Fern there because that's the only way to get Fern right now. I believe we've covered mostly. Well, okay. Aside from buying stuff. Because we covered like the Fern dupes and stuff, right? But yeah, you're not getting Fern anywhere else. Frieren, again, is only available through that selector or through the gacha. This game is, well, especially since you're starting now, but this game actually is a very, I think, free-to-play friendly game in terms of like the amount of resources they give every month. And then starting now, you're gonna have so many summons to do. It's not even funny. And there's always a ton of codes. Like do not worry about it. If you actually dedicate yourself to playing, you can summon enough to max these characters out if you wanted to do it that way. But again, without even spending anything. But if you spent anything like $15, $20, like we looked at those offers, that would drastically improve your ability to get these dupes maxed out. But you don't need that. It's just they're good characters, so you would like to have them. And if you ever become like super hardcore, you would be kicking yourself like, I wish I would have got more dupes in Frieren. Oh, I wish I would have got. So that's kind of the logic behind it. But of course, as you're brand new, I'm not trying to push you that direction. That's only a decision you can make. So remember that that ticket thing where you put them in the little slot machine and then it gives you out those fragments. So you can take those fragments and come here, and you have to claim 100 weapon design fragments for each one. So this turns into a weapon. So you choose which one you want. I want Frieren. I'll grab Frieren's 100 there. And then afterwards, you go to the craft. So I'm not going to click that button. That's something to help you. But you can click this menu, click on crafting, excuse me. And then you'll see the weapon here, and as you see, the 100 is right there, so I can craft it this way and get a copy of said weapon again, and go from there. And then you see also we have Fern's weapon there as well. And then if we go over here, you can outright, if you have the resources, you can outright just craft copies of these. If you somehow, some way didn't get them, you can come over here and craft them. It does look like the collaboration characters don't stay here though. That's one thing I was wondering, because the idle characters are not here anymore. So yeah, they do not stay. So you need to get these and the characters maxed out as much as possible during the event duration. But as you saw, I think that there's quite a few ways to get a lot of stuff here. It's not going to be perfect. It will require you to work for it, as you can imagine, right? That's a no-brainer, right? It's not a surprise. But I feel like we covered everything, and that is everything you need to know in relation to this event and how to get everything tied in. Whether you have to spend anything or not, it's all up to you. But I think that you can get all these characters, all these weapons, at least unlocked. In fact, I'm positive, free to play. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.